Chinese students, every time that they have to bring me some work and so on, they bring a paper, yellow paper records files where to put papers, documents, and so on. So, and this was a file, a record. Daganan means in English record, where Maoist system, so when was Mao Zedong, so initiated this system,
okay, I got it.
put like for his citizens a record, life record. For example, photographs, employment records, school reports, information on physical characteristics. So if you're...
So it's a file on you.
Yeah.
A thick file on each person.
Yeah. But how this system is created? Can you imagine?
I think that we can we have to return to one of the podcasts that we recorded together. Talking about surveillance system.
Yeah.
CCTVs and whatnot.
So big data, the big brothers of big data. So fair enough to call this like serial of our podcast 1984 because it's a bit like an Orwellian.
Yeah, you're talking about Black Mirror.
Yeah. It's like to be on Black Mirror, but even worse.
Characters. Yeah. Okay.
So what's going on? It's going on that several big corporations, for example, Alibaba, Penguin Credit System or Service, Tencent, that is the let me say, mother of WeChat. You know WeChat, no? They don't. It's a very famous like chat social network for Chinese.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
They use this Alipay or WeChat Pay. So each citizen, of course, use such system. So it's very easy to be recorded.
Yeah, and get access.
But also, you know that China is using facial recognition like system. Do you remember when we talked about
yes.
kids at school, no? And that are they're like
they're monitored.
Yeah, they're monitored.
At school, in terms of concentration. Yeah.
But, for example, if you are at home and you are completely disconnected, how you can be like catched that you are not respecting the rules at your home? Do you have any idea of that? Intriguing a bit, yeah? So you're at home, you screen completely your home, like you don't, you close...
Detection system or something?
No.
Recording from your smartphone?
No, because if you turn off your smartphone, you don't connect.
I don't know, I'll give up, I don't know.
Neighbors.
Okay, but you were saying like at home. I was
at
thinking
home.
Like physically being inside the building you're living in.
In each buildings or each neighborhoods, there are neighbors or one woman or generally are women.
Yeah.
Okay. That they have the role of I don't know, spies, because how I can call, and they report on you. And this is a government job. I mean, they are employed by government, and they make a record of you. And I saw an interview about this system, like not technological system, and this woman was very pleased with what she was doing.
I think that.
But can you imagine the social consequence of this?
Yeah, but frankly speaking, what you're talking about right now, it reminds me of the system implemented by Switzerland.
I don't know. Tell me, can you tell me something more about it?
It's about receiving a residence permit after living for 10 years. And after that, all neighbors should write some kind of report on you, saying what kind of person you are, how you behave, how you communicate, how good you are at the local language and whatnot. So, and only after collecting this information, maybe you will receive the permission to remain and not to be moved to another country and become a citizen of Switzerland.
Interesting, I didn't know about that. But you know, if you're not very attentive on the street, looking at the screen and so on, You know, you can discover that, I don't know, a friend of yours, or even your partner, or even your relatives are in this blacklist.
And what to do? So it means that there would be some kind of pressure from the family, from
No.
within the family, no?
If you try to call this person, the system switch a ringtone. First of all, there is like when you call, you hear on your by your phone a police signal.
That's
And
too
second,
much.
the ringtone begin with a following message. The person you are calling has been listed as discredited person by the local court. Please urge this person to fulfill his or her legal obligations. So,
Yeah,
you are
this
put in
was
the
like-
condition that first reaction say, legal obligation, I close the communication, no? I'm afraid.
Even talking to your relatives.
I mean, this can be the reaction. When
Yeah,
you
but
live in
because it's
such country that, I don't know, you're always controlled. And
I
you're
don't know, for me
afraid.
it's too much. There should be your personal bubble, your personal safe place. For
But
you,
the
for your
second-
thoughts and for your behavior.
But the second interesting thing is this, that you have to use this person to fulfill the legal obligation. So the country, the government, control you if you push this person and say, come on, become a good person as me. Huh? So this is that, in a way, you shape the personality of a person. I'm not telling that it's right to take, I don't know, to don't pick up the shit of your dogs on the street. I mean, it's not right. Or that is right cheating during the exam, you know, I hate that, no? So, but there are other facts that you can't share your discontent about the government or about the society or other facts. And I'm afraid that growing in terms of people, no population, this system will become like more strict and suffocating the society.
Yeah.
So this is one of the social consequences that
And also, it cannot be implemented straight away. Otherwise, people. Okay, the first thing, like, what kind of reactions people can have? Obviously, there would be certain backlash from the society because psychologically and mentally they're not prepared for these severe changes.
look. Have you never noticed about the behavior of Chinese abroad?
They don't care. They behave as they are, like, back at home.
No,
No, really?
they behave completely the opposite.
What do you mean?
They try to don't respect the rules. They are loud.
Oh, I was just explaining that in a little bit different way to myself. Okay.
Why? Because if you are in a cage for a long time and then you
Yeah,
get
the
the
beast
freedom,
It's
the,
kept in captivity. Yeah.
the beast soul that is kept in captivity, like, explodes. It's like when you are at home for several like days ill and then you wish to go out and you try to spread your joy. No, this is a system. But let me give some data. Just it's interesting fact. Do you know how many times people have been stopped to buy a flight ticket or a train ticket?
No, I don't know.
Nearly 18 million times.
What? Are you serious?
And let me say, yeah, nearly 130 people have been forbidden to leave China.
Okay, what you're saying, so these are the new waves.
Yeah, this is the new
Like,
system.
stop. But you, in the very beginning, you were saying that they're going to implement it in 2020.
No, this
I mean,
is national.
2020.
National. But there are pilots programs at regional.
All right, I got it.
So this system is like an experiment, okay? So in some Chinese region,
okay, got it.
it's already implemented
Yeah, all right.
to see how it works. If it works well, no, and so on. Then by 2020, the system will become a national system.
Oh my! I'm surprised that no one is discussing that.
There are discussions about this, and it's creating like some like strange effect even in the West, because they're trying to show that China is not democratic. Use this argument to fight China.
And to strengthen their positions, being
But
on
this
the
is-
other side.
But this, according to me, as like an expert of international relations and politics, is not the right way. Because when you push such big country that's already established in the mindset of people that you have to respect the rules, you strengthen the position of this country. You're not put in the weakened position. But interesting things, you know how many dog owners have been punished in the last year?
Tell me.
1,500. And you
Wow.
know what's happened?
Okay.
You're fined, your score is cutted, and the dogs, or other like pets, but generally dogs, are confiscated.
No way.
They take away the dog from you because you are not a good dog owner.
My goodness.
Can you imagine that somebody come to you and take the dog from you?
No, I will kill for for my dog.
So this is interesting. But of course there are other like consequences. Can you imagine that your kids pay for your mistakes?
In
This
what
is-
way?
I told you. For example, think that your parents were like very bad citizens, and you couldn't have the access to
But-
university or to school or to get
But
your
that's,
PhD.
obviously that's a negative side of
I'm telling
of
you.
this system. Yeah. And also, I don't know, like I'm really concerned about briberies, because if you want to level up your status in the society, probably people could start thinking of finding the way out, of approaching the right people who could do that.
But there is a problem of corruption, of bribes in China, but they're trying to fight very, very hardly, in a very tough way. Indeed, in the last 2 years, several top people from Politburo were like arrested. The head of police was arrested, Chinese head of police, even ministers of trades, deputy
Wow.
ministers. I mean, China is very strict about this, and they're trying to fight because bribes is a problem. Because China is like trying to spread the flag of communism, no socialism,
Yeah.
despite the system is not. It's like a social capitalism, we can say, or an hybrid, like communism in terms of people control and the state's management, but then in terms of economy, like a capitalist system. Come on. So, but in terms of ethics, of course, they're trying to keep the communist idea, no? That we are a society, we have to stick to each other, we have to protect each other, we have to protect our country, and so on. As in some way it wasn't during the Soviet Union, but we know that China.
A little bit different way, but yeah, there are certain similarities.
Yeah, I mean, the main idea they had.
Yeah, the concept is the same.
The concept is the same, but the people is different. So, game of life. Think about it, guys. Anna, thank you to be with me for this episode.
Thank you for sharing this wonderful information. I'll think of it for sure.
And in the future, we will have also some episode in Italian language for my Italian friends and for my motherland. and I hope that you could listen to that, or you will find a preview with a transcription